If women question you about something, it doesn't matter what it is. Just tell the truth. Because I promise you, whatever a woman is questioning you about, she already has the answers. A lot of women overthink. And a lot of women play spy. So when they are questioning you about something, trust me, they did all the research to get all the answers they needed to know. Hello, my name is Chance Strive, and you are listening to A Chance to Strive. Let's get it. Today, the title of the podcast actually is Men vs. Women, One and the Same. So pretty much we're actually going to take certain things guys do a certain way, things women wish guys knew, things guys wish women knew, and everything like that. So we're pretty much going to keep on switching it around. And we're going to look at men versus women. And yeah, it should actually be pretty interesting. Let's get into it. The very first part we're going to start off is pretty much, we're just going to call it guys versus girls. And pretty much we're going to take it from like a friendships point of view and then a relationship point of view. And then we'll look at it in like, we'll look at it around the realm of sex as well. So the one thing is, when we're looking at friendships, the one thing I want to say is, for guys, I feel like it is so easy to start being friends. It's like the easiest thing, because I feel like so many of the friends that I have now, it started off by just me just being in the exact same area as them, and then we constantly seeing each other. At first, it started with a little head nod, slow at one point wave, and then you get to the part where like you guys actually start dapping each other up and everything like that. And then after that, it's like y'all see each other so much to the point where like you feel you know that person, and random conversations start, and then you find out, oh, you like basketball? Oh, you seen the game last night, da 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 da. And then like the friendship just starts off and stuff like that. I feel like for women, it just really depends. Because women, majority of the times, are a little more social with each other. Like two guys in the same room that have never seen each other, and I automatically gonna think, we should probably talk. But with women, it's a little different. It's like, oh, I like your purse, I like your shoes. Oh, girl, thank you. That, and it's like, it's pretty much just over at that point. Okay, guys and girls, when it comes to arguments, like in the realm of friendships, we're still in the realm of friendships. But I feel like women in arguments, like when women argue with each other, women will get mad at each other and stay mad for so long just to be petty. But I think the difference is, it's like with guys, if we're mad at each other, half the time we don't even need to talk about what happened. Like whatever happened in the moment, boom, there it is. And then the next day, y'all get around each other and act like nothing ever happened. And it's not toxic neither. It's not like we don't overcome what we actually deal with. It's just more like, it happened. We heard what each other had to say. Why do we have to talk about it again and everything like that? It just seems kind of pointless, which is the reason why a lot of guys' friendships do not fall off for little reasons. Like I think a lot of women do. Like a lot of people that are in my life that are women, when they tell me about like how they stopped being friends with somebody, I'm like, you guys stop being friends over that? And they were like, well, she didn't want to apologize. And I'm like, bro, why would there be a point of that? You guys have been friends for so long, and y'all are going to just throw the whole friendship away because of something so little and petty. Okay, when it comes to like partying for guys, like in terms of like being together and stuff like that, guys, it really doesn't matter. Like we'll call a little, like something with like 3-4 people to us is like, yo, no, that's a vibe. Like that's a low get together, low kickback. To us, it really doesn't matter. As long as you're around the right people, we don't really care what we're doing. We'll stay around each other and be on our phones all day. And to us, that's just great. Like when we're hungry, we're like, food? Yeah. Or like we'll go walk, we'll just put something on to watch and everything, like, and we just leave each other alone. In terms of conversations, this is the one thing that really stands out, because like I've seen a group of guys, like from the outside, a group of guys and a group of girlfriends. The one thing I realized that's so different when like you have like guys have conversations with each other and women are a lot more open to each other and stuff like that. Because I think this whole like, I think it's really into like the whole toxic masculinity thing. This idea that you're scared that you won't be accepted. So a lot of guys at times, they don't tell each other everything. Because I know some guy group friends that I'm in where I've known them for a really long time, and for the most part we're actually really close. But when it comes to like, hey, last night I cried, like when it comes to like really showing your emotions and being vulnerable, a lot of the times there isn't that. And it's almost like there isn't a need for it, and that could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. But for the most part, as long as like we always keep it real with each other, I don't think to us it's like, oh, you never open up. Like that would never be something I tell one of my guy friends, unless I know like they really needed something. And I'm like, yo, you're hurting, you're going through it. Like I want to be there for you, you won't let me. Then I think that's when the issue kicks in. But the idea of like bringing it up, not that often. A lot of the times they'll start off with anger. We'll be like, yo, this happened. And I'll be like, yo, you good? Yeah. Like for the most part, that's how the conversations happen. But I feel like with women, you guys are very open with each other. Like I feel like any girls that you're pretty much close to, you generally treat them like a sister in every single round possible. The way you guys will wear each other's clothes 24/7, the sleepovers and stuff like that. I feel like women just there's more of a foundation, which is the part that makes sense why y'all fall off for little reasons. It's like y'all know so much about each other, things like you would never tell nobody else, but then you still end up actually like falling out. Like in the realm of like relationships with guys and girls, I feel like there isn't that big of a difference. I think the big difference is more like a guy maybe probably doesn't understand how to express his emotions as well as women. And for women, I feel like a lot of the times women tend to be the ones that want to talk more. And a lot of the times I get told that I'm more like the woman in my relationships. Why? Because I'm the guy that's like, hey, let's communicate. What do we need to talk about? But it's not a lot of guys out there that generally would be the person that's like, hey, let's prioritize communication. I'm mad, but I'm going to sit there and talk about it. They don't really do too much of that. And for sex, when it comes to guys and girls, it's like two different worlds in my opinion. Because I feel like for guys, sex is mainly just a physical thing. I'm not saying like that's an overall thing, but I'm saying like in terms of the majority. And for women, it's not a physical thing at all. Majority of the time, it's more mental than anything else. And of course, there are men that fall on the other side and women that fall on the other side. But I think for the most part, whether a guy craves like the mental part, which is more like the intimacy and less about like the physical component of love of sex, I don't think guys need that emotional connection like to have sex with somebody. I think that's the big difference. A woman, for a lot of the times, like I know a girl will like, oh, I can't, just the idea of just sleeping with a random dude, it just doesn't make sense to me. You tell a guy that, he'll be like, is her body nice? Is she good at what she does? Then okay, that's all it really takes for that, for the most part. But woman is kind of like, if they don't have a connection with you, I think everything just feels so different because they prioritize their body a little more than they're supposed to, which is no wonder because I think society pretty much makes us understand that. All right, so the next question actually we're gonna attack is, what is so hard for men to understand about women? And the thing is, I get this a lot, and we're gonna answer the other side as well, vice versa. This is something that goes viral on my TikToks majority of the times, where like I'll put out a video and I try to speak from a woman's perspective, and it's like it amazes women that I actually knows things, and I'm like, I know other guys that know this. Maybe they're just not vocal, or they just don't do it. But I just thought it'd be a great point to talk about. Okay, so what is so hard for men to understand about women? The one thing that I do definitely want to say is women want a balance, and a lot of the times it's kind of like, I know guys will be like, yo, what is it that you want? Like, bro, do you want somebody that's nice? Do you want somebody that's rude? But then it's like, they want both. They pretty much want the best of both worlds. Like at times, a woman will want you to like put them in their place if you guys are arguing, but at the same time, they want to be listened to. It's like at a certain point, you need to know when to raise your voice, but then when to tell, okay, baby, what is it? Talk to me. What is it that we got to figure out? Women love to be babied. Women actually really love it when you're capable of being assertive. It's kind of like, they don't want you to constantly always ask them, hey, what do you want to eat? What do you want to do? Even if when you present half of the places that you think you guys should go eat at, she'll probably say no to every single one of them. But to her, just this idea that you were making the plans before like anything was starting off, like to her, that's like, okay. Like the idea that you're going to be like, okay, babe, I'll pick you up at 6, be ready. Wait, where are you going? What are we doing? Don't worry about that. Just be ready. I'll take you somewhere you like. To a woman that's like everything because you thought about her. You thought about her schedule because you know she tends to be off at 5 and she gets home at 5:30. So by 6, she actually could be ready. Actually, no, they probably need a little more time to get ready. But no, just the idea that you're capable of doing that just shows like you're thinking about her. And to a woman, that is everything. The idea that it has to do with money is false. It's just the thought that goes behind it, the idea that you were thinking of them. Okay, so pretty much we looked at that from the woman's perspective, and now we're going to look at it from the men's perspective. What is it that women find so hard to understand about men? First things first. I can't stress this enough, and I speak for pretty much damn near every man that I know. We just want peace and quiet. That's like one of the biggest parts. This idea that every single time we're gonna be with you, you need us to constantly be talking, doing something. Men don't like that. When we're around each other, we don't do that. So if we're in a relationship, we don't want we want that exact same piece. This idea that I can literally just be around you and that's all it takes for me to just be happy. Like just your presence itself, like, is more than enough. But yeah, a lot of the times, like, we just want to be on the game. I'll be on the game while I know you're like watching a Netflix or you're on your phone, you're talking to one of your friends. To a lot of dudes, like, that's all it really takes. We don't need all of that extra stuff. We don't constantly need to go out and stuff like that. Like, let's order food, stay in. Like, that's good for us. And a lot of women do like that as well. But it's just the fact that a lot of women don't understand. That's what the dude likes a lot more than anything else. But yeah, and we like when you actually give us space to hang out with our friends. As supportive as a guy can be of you, like, around his friends like that, it doesn't matter how much the dude's friends like you. You don't want to be that guy that people know is always gonna bring his girl around. So at times, it's not the fact that he doesn't want to spend time with you. It's not the fact that he doesn't want to bring you around his guy friends. It's just the dynamic is a little different. The type of jokes we would crack when we're with each other, the moment your girlfriend's around, we got to be careful of what we say and everything like that. And it's just the idea that maybe they're not that closer. They don't want to say everything around her. So don't let your man be that person by constantly trying to be there when his friends are hanging around. And we also like the idea that, like, we want you to be like one of the guys. Like, try to play the game with us. Like, watch a show that we like that you have no types of interest in. Like, I love anime. Like, my first episode, I literally gave my list for animes. If I was in a relationship with somebody and you attempted to watch anime with me, you don't understand how much that would mean to me. Even if you just watched one episode and you hated it. But the idea that you sat through it means the world to me. The idea that trying to be like, you're trying to add on to this dynamic of our relationship where it's kind of like a best friend type of vibe is dope. Okay, so the next segment in our podcast is things that women wish guys knew. Like I said, vice versa for every one of these questions. And the thing is, I think this is so dope because on TikTok, this was actually probably one of the best series I would have. Like, I would be like, oh, things that women wish guys knew, part 1, part 2. And I think I even got to like part 10 or something like that. And all of those tended to do so good. And I don't know if I should feel good about it or bad that I say things at times it's like the most basic thing. And women hype it up so much because they are incapable of finding a guy that actually understands it. But yeah, okay. The very first things that women wish guys knew. Random explicit pictures does not turn her on. It just doesn't. You remember when we talked about the whole sex thing? To men, yes, it's more of a physical thing. To women, it's not that physical. To be completely honest with you, like I told you, it's just a mental thing. The fact that a girl is seeing a random dick pic in her DMs or something like that, she's not gonna look at it and be like, oh my God, this is great. I love it. I want it. No, if we see that, yes, I like that. But to them, it's not like, to them, it's like, who the fuck are you? I don't know you. I don't talk to you like that. And you know you don't even have a chance with me. They look at you like you're a weirdo when you do that. And if you're sending her that type of picture, you probably want a little song from her. It's probably not the best way to go about it. Trust me, the golden rule does not apply here. It does not apply. That's not what they want. And another thing that women really hate about guys, which I'll be completely honest, because a lot of us are very nonchalant. Women hate a guy that's just too laid back sometimes. Like this idea that you're so nonchalant during arguments and just constantly, like when you guys are having a conversation, it gets a little heated. Women hate that shit. And I'm gonna help women understand why guys do that. A lot of the times when we're being nonchalant, it's just trying to hold our composure. Like we're trying not to either raise our voices because we know it's not something we should do and it's not something you like. But a lot of the times if it's heated, the anger part picks up and everything like that. So we're like, I'm just trying to be calm. I'm just trying to be calm. I'm just trying to be calm. And there are a lot of times when a dude is trying to like communicate with his girl, you're not capable of accepting his emotions at the exact same time. And the reason why I say that is kind of like, I know in so many arguments, like in my relationships and a lot of my friends' relationships, when they'll tell me about it, if a girl gets pissed off, it is more acceptable for her to raise her voice instead if it was like the other way around. Like the idea that, like, let's just say you and your girl get in an argument or you did something you shouldn't have done. Let's not say it's cheating, because then by all means she has the right to do what she sees fits. But this idea, like, let's just say you just mess up something, right? If a woman gets really pissed off, she'll raise her voice at you. And for the most part, you're going to let her have it. You're not going to think too much of it. Maybe it pisses you off, but it's the thing that's common that women are probably going to do, and you're probably going to let it slide because it's nothing. But if it were the other way around, a guy was getting angry in a situation and he raised her voice at her, this idea that you can be, it just looks like it's such an intimidating thing. And it's just not fair. I'm not going to lie. It is not fair that it's that way, but I think it's just a lot more acceptable for women to express their emotions in anger throughout an argument instead of a guy. But yeah, the reason why girls don't like the whole nonchalant thing is just, they just want you to show that you care. And when you're sitting there the whole entire time and you're just calm and collected, you're not showing no types of emotions, she's thinking, oh, do you not care? Like, is this not important to you? Like, that's the thought process that goes behind her mind, which is the reason why she doesn't like the nonchalant thing. Trust me, it's not because you're a laid back guy. A lot of women love that. But when you lack emotion, they don't feel loved. Who the fuck would want to be with somebody that doesn't make you feel loved? But yeah, if women question you about something, it doesn't matter what it is. Just tell the truth. Please, just tell the truth. Because I promise you, whatever a woman is questioning you about, she already has the answers. A lot of women overthink. And a lot of women play spy. So when they are questioning you about something, trust me, they did all the research to get all the answers they needed to know. They just want to see, hey, is my boyfriend going to at least be nice enough to tell me the truth? Or are you going to sit there and lie to her face? And if you sit there and lie to her face, it kind of fucks everything up. Because no matter how you say sorry, it doesn't seem like you're actually sorry. This idea that if she didn't find out, you would have continued to lie blows her mind. And it just ain't right, you feel me? And another part, before we actually switch over to the guy's perspective, woman wants you to be their number one hype man. And when I say hype man, I mean like gas her up like one of her little girlfriends would do. Oh my God, you got your hair done? Bad bitch. Like things like that. Women love it. Like that's what they want. Like they want their man to be their number one fan. Like slide up on her story 24/7. That's one thing so many women hate. This idea that when you are trying to get me, you put so much effort in. You are sliding up on every picture, constantly trying to get her attention. And understand something. She likes that attention. So when she's with you, she cuts off access to get that from anybody else. Do your job. Do your part. Constantly hype her up. Constantly slide. Like, don't let your relationship become uninteresting. It's like, oh, I don't even know if I felt beautiful anymore. He doesn't tell me that. Or if a dude's like, yo, like, she even attracted to me? Like, she never tells me I look good. I get a haircut. She says nothing. You want to constantly hype up your partner. Because the thing is, everybody likes receiving some level of attention of some type of sort. Be the person that gives her everything she needs. That's the whole point of being together, right? Like, if you can find something in someone else that your partner doesn't have, then clearly there are things that you guys have to work on. This idea that y'all are together in the first place doesn't mean, oh, we're both perfect. It's like, nah, we really like where we are now. But like, I want to see the person you're meant to be in 5 years. So constantly work on it and constantly like help each other grow. And now we're going to switch over and we're going to go to things that men wish women knew. And the very first one on the list, it has to be the first one. Listen to me very carefully. We like to be babied just as much as you do. Like, I don't care how much he works out. I don't care what your man looks like. I don't care if he's gangster. I don't care what he is. I promise you, at the end of the day, when he comes back to you, he wants to cuddle on you. Like, he wants to low hug. I got times, like, you'll tell him, like, babe, let's spoon. And he'll be like, babe, I don't want to. And he'll always give up. Like, I promise you, this is one thing you'll realize. Every time a guy will try to argue about, I don't want to be babied. I don't like how you playing with my hair, out of this, out of that. At one point, he will give up and he'll act like, oh, I'm just letting you get your way now. He was just putting up an act. He loves it. Like, we like when you play with our hairs. Like, give me a little massage. Like something. Like, I promise you, just feeling your touch is more than enough for me. And it don't have to be anything sexual. We love to be babied. Honestly, at times we be feeling like we want to be babied more than y'all do. But yeah, that's I feel like that's definitely a thing. And one thing that I feel like a lot of guys really wish that women understood, and it becomes so hard, and this is like in the relationships realm, it becomes so hard to like express that throughout your relationship. And to me, that thing is stop including your friends in every little situation that happened. I get it; these are girlfriends, but your friendships and your relationships at times have to be a separate thing. Because I know, like, for me, it's kind of like if I'm with a girl and we get into an argument and all of a sudden all of her friends know, it might make me a little angry. It might piss me off a little bit because it's like, this is our situation. The idea that I'm not putting it on social media, I'm not putting it on social media. I'm not telling certain of my guy friends about it. It's not like, oh, aren't those your guys? Aren't those your closest people? It's like, yeah, those are my friends. But at the end of the day, I understand like their boundaries because of our relationship that is set on everything else. Because I'm dating you, I can't flirt with some of my friends that are girls, even if it's completely platonic. Because at the end of the day, that's a boundary that is made because you have to have that level of respect for your relationship. But yeah, it's like we just don't like constantly hearing, oh, my friend said this, my friend. We don't want to hear it. And the thing is, at times your friends won't like us. So the moment you tell them what it is that we did, you pretty much they're gonna add more fuel to the fire. Like if your friend doesn't like me, and this is the part that's also important, your friend is also not in a relationship with me. So the idea that they can have an input about every little thing, even though they'll never be understanding the full story, is the thing that I don't like at all. If you tell your friends situations that happen and you don't value their opinion over us, then maybe I won't look at it like that big of a deal. But I know a lot of girls where it's kind of like they will have their friends tell them things and actually influence the decision that they actually make. And a lot of guys are this exact same way too. So it applies to both. But yeah, this idea that I'm in a relationship with you and your friends always get an input is something that's going to piss me off because first of all, they shouldn't have even known about the situation. Like you chose to talk to them about the situation before me. And I'm like, yo, if you want to date your friends at this point, just say that. But yeah, this is also a big one. A lot of the times I don't think men's emotions are prioritized as much as a woman's relationships in a lot of situations. Because think about it, right? As a dude, if your girl messes up and you guys sit there, you have a conversation about it, and then you call her out on what she did wrong, she apologizes, right? So I'm not saying everything's great, but the idea that she'll do better, you're like, okay, we actually overcame this. So you'll still choose to baby her after, tell her, it's okay, baby, that, hold on to her. It's kind of like you're giving her a shoulder to cry on, even though you're the person that was hurt in the situation. Men do not get that often. I know for a fact, I don't get it often. And I'm not just saying every single woman is like that, but I'm just saying it is something that commonly happens. This idea of man's emotions is not as huge as a priority as a woman's. And the reason why I feel that way is because a woman's emotions is the number one priority to a man. But a woman will prioritize her emotions at times over the dudes. Because I've never been in a relationship where I did something wrong and the person I was with grabbed onto me and told me, it's going to be okay, I got you. At all. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to give which relationship this was because I have to keep that private. But I remember in one of my relationships, that never happened. And I ended up making a video on social media about this type of topic. And I wasn't even thinking about my emotions, to be honest, because I feel like when you've been in a situation for so long, you start noticing the fact that it's not an issue. Like, if you put it underneath the rug for so long, at a certain point, you almost want to forget about it. You don't want to constantly have to think about the same thing over and over again, especially if you're like, it's not worth it. But I remember I made a video talking about that exact same thing. And the person I was with in the next argument we had where I felt bad because I'm the one that messed up, she hugged me. And when I tell you, I have never been so like stuck and confused in my life. Like that just goes to show you how much a man's emotions a lot of the times is really not that big of a priority to a woman. Like, yes, do they prioritize it? Yes. But I feel like the way you go about expressing that isn't always something we can see. Like when she sat there and she hugged me after I'm the one that messed up, I was so confused. And the issue is I would do it for her 24/7. But the moment she did it for me, it's like, yo, this was a whole entire thing that I'm not used to. This idea that I messed up and I hurt your emotions and you still care about me enough to still put my emotions before yours. Like when I tell you I was genuinely confused, I was like, and I knew she had done it because of my video that I made, which it didn't actually kill the moment. I thought it would have. I'm like, do I even like this? Because you pretty much take my advice off social media. Like, that's the part that's a little lucky for you because you're dating an influencer. But then I was like, the idea that she realized it was an issue and chose to work on it without me and her making it a conversation just goes to show me, like, she genuinely cared. And that meant everything to me, to be completely honest. Like, I was like, you know what? Although it wasn't something you did, but then again, you probably have to do it for nobody else. So you probably never thought it was an issue. I'm like, I didn't even bring it up. So I can't even put all the blame on her because it's like, I also have a part in this relationship where I actually have to communicate with her as much as I want her to communicate with me and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm also going to really emphasize, like, your presence is all we ever need. It doesn't matter. Let us be on the game. Let's do some homework together. Like, to me, that's a date. The idea we spend the whole day together. At one point, I have to be on the game with the guys. You go on the phone with one of your girls and everybody's just doing their own thing. And then after that's over with, we get back together. We spend some time with each other. Let's do homework together. Like, to me, that's like a date. Oh, babe, are you hungry? All right, like, order some food while we're doing homework. Like, dude, like, I feel like that's all it should take. Like, everybody's so materialistic. Like, oh, for a dude to show you he really cares about you and take you on dates, he has to take you out. And I'm like, no, I'm a homebody. I'm somebody who actually likes staying at home. Like, I love it. Like, I love being at home. So I didn't need to get a car for so long until, like, I started in college and I'm like, I have so much responsibilities. But yeah, it's like, I'm a homebody. Like, us staying at home and just doing us. It doesn't matter what it is. To me, that's a date. And at times I prefer that over going out. I'm like, yeah, I got to look cute when I go out. You look cute. We look cute. Like, it's a great feeling, but sometimes you just gotta relax. Like, it's almost like I want to be alone, but alone with you. It's this idea that you're my peace. Like, I need space away from you and everything like that. I'm going to apologize for a lot of guys because I know this is a misconception that a lot of women have. Not all of us are just trying to fuck. Some guys are just very intrigued by sex. They're sex addicts. It's not the fact that they're whores. It's just the fact that it's something that is constantly in their mind. And at times, man, we can do better at this. You don't need to make it a thing that you have to have you pop in a conversation like every second. Like, a girl shouldn't say, let's play 21 questions. And by the third or fourth question, what's your body count? What's your favorite position? Like, things like that. Like, at least leave it down. Like, when you like question 8, 9, or maybe even 10. I feel like you gotta get in double digits. Like, you can ask enough questions to not get to that. But at times it's like, a guy's just really trying to figure out where you stand on the sex point of view. But they don't understand the fact that for women, whenever that's a thing that's revealed so early on, whether or not they had that idea, like they wanted to do it, the idea that you make it such a priority to women is something that actually is kind of a red flag. They're like, you want me for my body? But you just, sometimes we be trying to show love. Let's just say a lot of our love is just given in a physical manner. It's not a bad thing. I was going to end it off, but I felt like I should add a little story time. And it's something that a lot of my followers, you guys probably already know about it. Because one, you guys have asked me to repeat this story a lot of the times because I think the first time I just posted about it, it was... All right, so it was around the time where I would like normally respond to questions that people would have. I'd be like, hey, ask me questions, and I'll reply to it with a video on TikTok. And I actually used to love doing that. I'm probably going to start doing it again. But one of the questions was like, worst sexual experience. And the thing is, I would always respond to like the top comments, like the thing with the most likes. And that was the one with the most likes. Everybody went to like, what's your worst sexual experience? And honestly, it was, I don't remember what your birthday was. I think I was either turning 18 or 19. Yeah, I was either turning 18 or 19, right? So my birthday ended up passing, spent it with the family and everything like that. And I remember that Saturday, because me and my family go to church, they were like, oh, we'll just host a little dinner for you here and stuff like that. It was after you hang out with your friends, just come back and stuff. I was like, okay, yeah, Mom, that sounds great. I'll be with my friends. And everybody came back home and then we're eating and stuff like that. And then I ended up like telling a girl like, yo, come over type shit. And she ended up sliding after work. All right, so she knew what she was coming over for. I knew what she was coming over for. And there was a lot of kids in my room, so I kicked them out real quick. And I was like, and we're just chatting it up, doing what we had to do. But the thing is, at one point I had to open up the windows. That's how bad the smell was. Like, See, I'm not a guy that's like very picky. I'm like, oh, you need to smell like roses. That's not realistic. She'll give you that out the shower or something. But this idea that it's gonna be perfect all the time, come on, bro. We be sweating after we play basketball. We know it's not a beautiful scent. But yeah, I'm like, so she comes over and everything like that. But the idea that she knew what she was coming over for is the part that made it my worst sexual experience. You knew what was about to get into, and this is what you brought to me. And this is like my birthday. I feel like that was so disrespectful. Like, it's my birthday and this is what you bring to me. But I'm telling you, like, literally every time the smell just kept on coming back to me. It was like I was whiffing it every trip. And I was like, at one point, I'm not gonna lie, I faked it. I was like, I finished. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this no more, bro. I do not care. I'm not putting myself through that anymore. And I started putting up the windows. And I'm a very nice guy. And I know people who say they're nice guys are not nice guys, but it's just a disclaimer I have to put out there for now. But I literally opened up the windows and started spraying the room. No, I didn't spray the room. That would have been too. Yeah, I would have not been able to find an excuse. I opened up the windows and then I saw her looking and I was like, oh, it's so hot in here. And I was like, I didn't want to make her feel so bad because I felt like such a dickhead that I had to do that. But I'm like, do you want to see how disrespectful and rude kids can get? If I were to open up that door and the kids all ran back, I'm like the favorite uncle. So all of them would come back into the room when I open up the door. If they were to smell my room smelled like, they would ask if she stinks, because the only thing that changed from the last time they were in the room was the fact that she walked in. And I felt so bad. I was like, let me just let the room air out. I locked the door and I was like, it's okay. We're going to be great. I never talked to her again, though. That was just so... Why would you want to put yourself through that twice? And I know it might have been a bad day. I can't risk that. Because what I had to go through was so disappointing. If I can think about this 2-3 years later, and that is still the worst sexual experience I've had, that's bad. But I really hope she don't see this. And if she does, it's been a long time. I know you've changed. I've changed. We're doing great. You're doing great. But that is it for our show. And this was episode 2. Thank you for tuning in to Men vs. Woman. One and the same. I'll catch y'all later. Have a great day. Do what it is that you love. We're out.